Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to the Operation Freedom platform in our ongoing series with Dr. Peter Glidden on your nutritional health and well-being. This is our 27th, 28th in the series that we do on your wellness, on your health. Now, big insurance, big medicine, and big pharma, well, they don't like this series. And the reason is because we don't push big pharma, big insurance, and big medicine. We're providing you information to empower you and for you to help take control of your health and wellness. Today's topic is going to be on your immune system and how it relates to the vitamins and minerals that you can utilize to enhance your immune system. And in this day and age, with all that's happening with the infectious disease world, I believe it's more than appropriate we talk about this. Now, Peter and I did another video now 5-6 weeks ago on the virus and your immunity and your immune system. It's in our archives. I suggest you take a look at that. I'm going to ask our IT people to put a link in the description section below this video so you have that. And I'm also going to ask our IT people to put a link of some CDC recommendations of what you can do in your home, at work, at school, in a corporate environment to minimize the viral load and the bacterial load that your body can experience. The very common sense, washing your hands. Peter and I have talked about this. In fact, when we started talking about washing your hands repeatedly during the day, I was inundated with a lot of criticism that, well, this is too simplistic, that this is, you're making light of the situation. No, the single most effective way of enhancing your immune system and reducing the viral and bacterial load is to wash your hands. With soap and water, warm soap and water, not scalding hot, don't burn yourself. How long? Sing happy birthday to me while you're doing it. And then dry your hands on a paper towel. Don't use the blowers you find in a lot of these public restrooms. Now, to my friend Peter. Peter's background, for those of you that are not aware. He attended Williams College, obtained his Bachelor of Science in Pre-Medical Studies from the University of Massachusetts, obtained his doctoral degree in naturopathic medicine at Bastyr University, which is outside of Seattle, and he is a member of the American Association of Naturopathic Physicians. He has been licensed to practice naturopathic medicine since 1992. In addition to his outstanding clinical skills, Peter is an outstanding author. I encourage you to get his books available on Amazon. Everybody is Sick, and I Know Why, An Attempt to Cure with Holistic Medicine. Pete, welcome back to the Operation Freedom platform.
Dave, always pleasure to spend time with you. And I just wanted to throw out a little historical nugget when you were mentioning the whole hand washing thing, right?
Yeah.
Years ago, there was a medical doctor named Ignaz Semmelweis. And Semmelweis worked in a hospital. And Semmelweis was an open-minded thinker, and this was back in, I think the 1800s, right, the late 1800s. Mm-hmm. Semmelweis noticed that when midwives who were working in the hospital helped women give birth, the women didn't get childbed fever.
Okay.
But when surgeons delivered the babies, a large number of their patients, the women, got childbed fever. Hmm. And this was before the germ theory was known, right? This was before Pasteur. Nobody even knew what the heck a germ was. And so Semmelweis said, it's probably a good idea if, before the surgeons deliver babies, they wash their hands. That's all they need to do. Just wash your hands, get the blood off of your hands, because, they didn't know anything about the sterile technique back then either. And for that remark, encouraging surgeons to wash their hands before they engaged with patients, he was bastardized. He was kicked out of medicine. I think he ended up in an insane asylum.
Yeah, they institutionalized him.
Because he had the audacity to say, wash your hands before you engage with patients. And, I guess in this case, history really does repeat itself.
No, it does. I can tell you the negative feedback I had over those recommendations, and that I've continued to give, that this being very, very important, has been, I never would have imagined it, Peter. Yet it's the single most effective thing to do, step you can take to reduce the viral and bacterial load that you're bringing to yourself.
Well, the people that have criticisms like this, they're probably the same people that think the coronavirus is related to Corona beer. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, right. Well, and there are some folks that think that. Okay, Pete, now let's talk about our listeners' immune system and the vitamins and minerals that can be utilized to enhance the immune system, because one of the big foundations of prevention of any type of illness, let alone this virus or the flu or whatever it might be, is making sure that your immune system is firing on all 8 cylinders, and that we enhance the protection that our body has.
Right, and this is the fundamental naturopathic maxim that the body knows how to fix itself, the body wants to fix itself, it's trying to fix itself, but it needs help. And in this arena, it needs raw materials, right? So your immune system needs stuff in order to work, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, proteins, needs raw materials in order to function properly, especially when it's under attack, in this case from viral stress, right? Mm-hmm. So now one of the wonderful things that we don't talk about very much, or we haven't spoken about very much so far, is my profession's relationship to the scientific method.
Okay.
A lot of people are of the opinion that naturopathic doctors, they're practicing some pseudo-scientific, weird, wacky holdover medicine from the 60s with they're wearing Birkenstocks and ponytails, right? A lot of people think that. Yeah. I mean, they still do. And let's be honest, Dave. Most people don't even know how to pronounce naturopathy, right? Let alone know what it is or what the training of a licensed naturopathic doctor is. All right, but I digress. So here's the deal. In this area, my profession stands to unite the scientific method with holistic philosophy, right?
Got it.
Because the truth is the truth, whether you believe it or not.
That's right.
I mean, back in caveman days, geometry and algebra applied whether or not the caveman knew about it or not, right?
Right.
So the truth is the truth. Now, if vitamins and minerals and amino acids, medical nutrition, botanical medicines do in fact have a positive effect on the immune system or any other system of the body, then you should be able to objectify that with the scientific method, right?
Right.
All right, well, guess what Longevity did? They went to Clemson University, and they had Clemson University do a number of placebo-controlled, double-blinded trials. These were in vitro trials with cell lines. Mm-hmm. And they used 2 of Longevity's formulations, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, which is part of the foundation pack that we recommend, and another product that Longevity made, an earlier iteration of that product called the Ultimate Classic. The results were remarkable. I mean, the results were just remarkable. I'll read you what they did here. They did genotoxicity tests. The formulations of various concentrations did not show detectable genotoxicity. That meant that the formulations are non-harmful to the human body. They looked at anti-mutagenic tendencies of the cell. There was no mutagenic tendency of any of the supplements that they tested. And they were remarkably effective at knocking down cancer cells. In vitro, not in vivo, right?
So not in people. This was in the laboratory.
It was in the laboratory,
okay.
Right? On cell lines that were manipulated to become cancerous, right? And then they applied different levels, different amounts of the tangy tangerine and the Ultimate Classic, and they looked to see what happened. And son of a gun, it was remarkable, like over 60% reduction in the elimination, death of the cancer cells in vitro. And they also did the same thing with inflammatory tests.
Okay.
So one of the things that they did was they took cells, healthy cells, and they incubated them inside of a chemical called LPS. It's an acronym. And in the presence of LPS generates an inflammatory cascade in the cells.
Okay.
And then they measured the inflammatory cascade in the cells just as a control group, and in the cells that were that had the tangy tangerine or the ultimate classic applied to them.
Okay.
And there was a remarkable anti-inflammatory activity of the cells that were, stimulated to have inflammation from the application of LPS,
right,
of the cells that were treated with the vitamins. So the tangy tangerine and the ultimate classic have been proven in cell cultures at Clemson University to seriously down-regulate inflammation. Now,
because one of the concerns, Peter, is with any type of product you might take, medication, whatever it might be, that it could actually increase the inflammation, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And also, part of immune upregulation is decreasing inflammation. I mean, this is why, I've always said this, it's kind of a running joke that if the pharmaceutical industry all of a sudden took away corticosteroids, right, most medical doctors wouldn't know what to do. Because they use corticosteroids, which are anti-inflammatory meds for everything. I mean, they throw anti-inflammatory meds at everything. Why? Because all disease processes are related in some way, shape, or form to inflammation. So the more you can cut down inflammation, the better it's going to be. And while there's a way to suppress inflammation, and there's a way to help the body deal with inflammation.
Right.
And as it turns out, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the Ultimate Classic, at least in vitro studies, shown that it supports the body's natural built-in ability to decrease inflammation in a healthy way. And this has certainly been our experience with, people who follow our advice and take the stuff. Their pain gets diminished a remarkable amount. The arthritic symptoms go away. The blood pressure comes down. The migraine headaches alleviate. The asthmatic condition goes away. And they recover faster from infectious diseases, right? In part, it's one part of this orchestra, right? And it's a big part, is the anti-inflammatory activity of the tangy tangerine. Just such a great product and proven to be effective with in vitro studies at Clemson University, which is, kind of a big deal. And if we had a free medical market, and if just as much research money was given to medical nutrition and holistic therapeutics as was given to pharmaceuticals, this information would have been run with. Because you don't see numbers like this with drugs, you just don't. You see it with vitamin and mineral supplementation and botanical medicines frequently. And, if we had a free medical market, these data would have been crunched. And this research would have been taken steps and steps forward, and there'd be human trials, and there'd be animal trials, and all kinds of trials, and we'd have a much better understanding of what to do. Right now we're just kind of extrapolating. Well, here's what happens in cell lines. Here's what else we understand about the action of vitamins and minerals on the metabolism of the human body, and here's what happens to patients when we give it to them and observe what happens, and then we put it all together and say, well, ladies and gentlemen, from the best of our understanding, this is a really good idea in order to support and promote your body's built-in ability to fix itself.
So if you wanted to give some folks some recommendations, we've talked about the foundation, and actually that's why it's called the foundation pack, of which this tangy tangerine is part of it. What else makes up that foundation to enhance your immunity, to your immune system, to make it rev it up to the point where it's on all cylinders, fighting whatever might be thrown our way?
Selenium. Selenium is a mineral like calcium. Selenium, especially in the form of selenomethionine, so is a remarkable supplement to add to your program if you're trying to, in this case, upregulate your body's immune system. And here's why. We talk a lot about the police department of the body, which is the immune system. the body also has a fire department, which puts out the fires of inflammation. And in this case, the fire department and the immune system are intimately connected, because when there's an immune stress, there's always inflammation, right?
Correct.
And whatever you can do to knock that down is going to be helpful. Selenium is like the captain of the fire department of the human body. So in the face of an inflammatory cascade initiated, in this case by a viral stress, one of the body's first defenses is the production of a biochemical called glutathione. Glutathione knocks down inflammation like nobody's business. It's like putting water on a fire.
Okay.
Not just a little bit of water, a lot of it. The problem with glutathione is kind of like a bumblebee, right? When a bumblebee stings you, it dies, right?
Right.
Loses a little stinger and it dies, the poor little thing. When glutathione exerts an anti-inflammatory activity, it dissipates. It gets used up. It vaporizes, for lack of a better word, unless there's selenium present. In the presence of selenium, glutathione is recycled and used again.
Oh.
And then used again. And then used again. So taking adequate amounts of selenium into the human body goes a long way towards upregulating the fire department of your body, decreasing inflammation, which is going to have huge benefits to your immune system. So selenium is what we recommend. Now, there is a little bit of selenium in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, or the Ultimate Classic, and the Healthy Foundation Pack. But in times of extracurricular stress, which we are perhaps in the middle of right now, this whole COVID-19 nonsense, not a bad idea to add a little extra selenium help. And in this regard, the Longevity's Ultimate Selenium is recommended. 1 bottle a month, 1 capsule 3 times a day. And because it's a mineral, it's best absorbed if you take it between meals. Because there's some foods like beans and rice and spinach and some vegetables contain a harmless biochemical called a phytate. Spelled that Phytate. Now, phytates are harmless in the body, but one of the things that phytates do is they bind to minerals
and block their absorption.
Yeah. So it's best to get more bang from your mineral buck, selenium being a mineral, if you take that supplement between meals. That's the recommendation.
And I want to focus toward the end of this, Peter, on this particular virus attacks lung tissue. It appears more prevalently in the alveolar type 2 cells, but you and I did a previous video about lung health. Why don't we refresh everyone's memory? So we talked about what can be done to enhance the immune system. That's taken the foundation pack, of which Beyond Tangy Tangerine is part of, taking a supplement, the selenium supplement. Refresh our memories on lung health and what we can do to optimize our lungs for any type of insult that might come.
Okay, so omega-3 essential fatty acids is the short answer, because omega-3 essential fats are to the lungs what calcium is to the bones.
Okay.
It's very important. And, the lungs they're moving all the time, and if they dry out, quote unquote, which perhaps isn't the best term to use, but it's metaphorically apt, because they're deficient in omega-3 essential fats, because there weren't enough omega-3 essential fats in the food that people are eating, then every time the lungs expand and contracts, it creates a little friction. What does friction create? Inflammation. What does inflammation create? A world of hurt.
Right.
And also, if you're dealing with an infectious organism like the COVID-19 virus, which now finds a happy hunting ground in the lungs, part of the cellular metabolism or the viral metabolism is going to be inflammation. And this is why people infected with the COVID-19 get pneumonia. It's because of the inflammatory cascade that the virus creates inside the lungs, right?
Right.
Inflammation, more inflammation, and more inflammation, and more inflammation. And now you've got pneumonia build up, because one of the byproducts of inflammation is edema, water buildup, and that's no bueno. So, omega-3 essential fats help to strengthen the lungs, and anything else that can help to knock down inflammation. Oh, gee, what do I know that does that? Well, tangerine and selenium. So this is like, the 1-2 punch to upregulate and strengthen, in this case, lung tissue, which is just a super smart idea because the COVID-19 has a particular affinity for lung tissue.
And the omegas are also part of that foundation pack, correct?
And that's why, that's why we're the smartest people in the room.
No.
But this is exactly it. And this is, it doesn't get any more straightforward than this.
Right.
You tune your car up, give it good oil, give it good transmission fluid, good spark plugs, good everything. It's going to run better.
It is.
Everybody's body, and let me just pause and say this because it's true. Everybody is undernutrified. Everybody is sick. Look around. Everybody's sick. Everybody's on at least 2-3 different meds. The older that they get, the more meds that they're on. And it's not because people have bad genes or, because of cell phone radiation, which is a real thing, but that's another stress. This is not what causes chronic disease. It's nutrient deficiencies over time in the body, and the body just doesn't have what it needs to fight the good fight. And then you eat fried food 5 times a week, you're going to create more inflammation. You eat wheat, barley, rye, and oats on a regular basis.
More inflammation.
And you're going to impede your body's ability to absorb what little nutrients there are in the food, and so forth and so on. And so this is why it's called the foundation pack, because it gives the body everything that it needs, right, in recipes that it can absorb, and then we take it a notch higher with extra selenium, extra jojoba omegas. Last time we talked about using the PureWorks hand sanitizer as a barrier for the hands, and we talked about using the Good Herbs Super Olive Health, right, as an immune system upregulator, especially in the face of viral stress. You do all these things, man. It's like going outside in sub-zero weather all bundled up. You can handle that stress. Or you can go outside in sub-zero weather in your bathing suit.
Right.
Like most people do when it comes to, the COVID-19 or the influenza virus. They don't know what the heck to do, and so they get hammered.
Right.
And they blame it on the virus. And, it's more the status quo of the body than the strength of the virus most of the time.
Peter, I'd like to thank you for all that you do on a daily basis to help every person willing to listen. I encourage folks to go to Amazon and get Peter's books, Everybody is Sick, and I Know Why, and Attempt to Cure with Holistic Medicine. They're the foundation of our medical library in our home. I can tell you the information you get there, you're not going to get from any other source. And Peter, I'd like to thank you for having the courage, because you smile, but it's true. The syndicate, the medical industrial complex syndicate, does not want this message to be brought forward of how people can empower themselves with something that doesn't involve big pharma, big insurance, or the AMA, if you will. And I'd like to thank you for all that you do on a daily basis. And folks, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. All of this information is available, by the way, on OperationFreedomHealth.com. Full disclosure that by purchasing products on OperationFreedomHealth.com, you do support what we do on this platform. Again, all this information, we have our previous videos and the like, are available on OperationFreedomHealth.com. Thanks for your time today.